Red Swamp Crayfish. The smallest animal predator in the game, the mighty red swamp crayfish. And by mighty, I mean it weighs 0.2 pounds, smaller than a crab. Basically, it's the kind of animal Arthur could step on by accident and feel guilty about later. You'll find these little guys out in Bayou Noir, hiding in crayfish holes, just like hunting for gator eggs, but instead of something terrifying, you get shrimp with an attitude. They're omnivores too, snacking on plants, bugs, snails, even dead stuff, which honestly makes them sound more like camp trash cans than predators. When you catch one, you don't even get a trophy. You get a carcass, a little meat, and best of all, they make great fishing bait. If you're feeling fancy, you can use a bow with a small game arrow for a clean kill. But really, who's bragging about sniping a crayfish? Tiny, crunchy, and technically a predator.
Rats. The rats. Black rats, brown rats, little brown rats. Saint Denis has more of them than it has people. These predators are basically the size of Arthur's boot. They're scavengers, munching on crops, fungus, scraps, basically professional dumpster divers. In-game, you can nail them with a bow and small game arrows. But mostly, half the time player kill one, it's because they accidentally rode over it. What do you get? Stringy meat, some fur, and apparently, if you're a fashion icon, you can craft a rat hat. Yes, walk into camp rocking a rat hat, and watch Dutch question his entire leadership. The muskrat cousin is a bit chunkier, hangs out by rivers, snacking on fish and plants. Better loot, too. You can get muskrat gloves out of them. Cuban land crab. Now this fella, the Cuban land crab. And before you ask, no, it won't pinch you to death. They weigh about a pound. Diet? Leaves, bugs, carrion. So yeah, they're basically the swamp's cleanup crew. You'll first see them in Guarma. They also hang out around Flatiron Lake's shores and islands. Kill one with a bow, and you get meat and a carcass. You can even cook up a minty crustacean recipe, which honestly sounds more like a dish at a 5-star restaurant than something Arthur whips up on a campfire. Snakes.
Now RDR2's got a whole mess of them. On the smaller end, you've got water snakes, weighing a pound or two. Then copperheads and cottonmouths, maybe 2 to 6 pounds. Not scary, unless you step on one barefoot. Then it scales up. Rattlers like timber, black-tailed, and diamondback. These can hit 5 to 15 pounds, and they'll rattle that tail like a broken maraca before trying to ruin your day. And then there's Guarma, boa country. Rainbow boa, sunglow boa, red boa. Big, colorful, and strong enough to make you wish you stayed home. In-game, the best way to deal with them? Bow with small game arrows. Anything else and you'll wreck the skin. Loot-wise, it's mostly stringy meat and snake skins. Perfect pelts get you a crafted saddle. Because nothing says cowboy luxury like sitting on a horse with snake leather under your butt. The fer-de-lance is the deadliest snake in the whole lineup. In real life too, it's one of the most dangerous in Central America. Banded Gila monster. Native to the deserts of New Austin, this little guy weighs maybe 3 to 5 pounds. Predator? Sure, if you're a frog or a bird egg. To Arthur though, it's a lizard with an ego. Best way to drop one is with a varmint rifle. Loot gets you some herptile meat. And if you land a perfect skin, congratulations, you can make a lizard hat. In real life, Gila monsters are actually venomous, one of the only lizards that are. But in RDR2, they're just another desert snack.
Desert iguana.
Smaller than the Gila, about half a pound to a pound, which basically makes it the appetizer of the reptile family. Diet, mostly plants and fruit, sometimes insects. So yeah, pretty chill. Until Arthur rolls up with a varmint rifle. Loot one and you get herptile meat and a little skin. Perfect skin can be made into a hat. They like to hang out on the islands in the San Luis River. So if you're island hopping out there, expect to see these little dudes sunbathing like tourists. American badger. Now, the American badger is where the small critters start getting some bite. We're talking 15 to 25 pounds of underground fury. These things dig like pros, and their diet's all about moles, prairie dogs, and rodents. Basically, if it squeaks, a badger will eat it. Best way to take one down is with a varmint rifle. Loot-wise, you'll get a pelt, some claws, and stringy meat. Perfect pelts make, you guessed it, another hat. At this point, I think the trapper's just running a weird hat business on the side. Also, if you mess with a badger, it will fight back. They've got big, angry little man energy.
Striped skunk. The striped skunk weighs around 6 to 14 pounds. Danger level? Well, let's just say it's not their teeth you're worried about. One whiff of their spray, and suddenly Arthur smells worse than Micah's personality. Diet's all over the place. Bugs, fish, small mammals, berries, carrion. Basically, they'll eat anything. And then gas anything. Best to hunt them from range with a varmint rifle, so you don't end up regretting it. Their pelts can be used to make boots, and their meat is edible, but stringy. Raccoon. Found all across Lemoyne, New Hanover, and West Elizabeth. Omnivores, so they'll eat plants, berries, rodents, eggs, pretty much whatever's in your trash. Loot gets you a pelt and some stringy meat. Perfect pelt makes another hat. At this point, you could open a whole shop called Weird Animal Hats by Arthur Morgan. But raccoons? They're the true bandits of the forest. And unlike Micah, when these guys steal your food, at least they look cute doing it. Virginia opossum. The Virginia opossum is basically the raccoon's less stylish cousin. Weighing 10 to 15 pounds, they hang out just about everywhere, eating nuts, fruit, mice, and carrion. And when trouble shows up, they've got that legendary trick, playing dead. They are so easy to kill like the moment you pull out a varmint rifle. And the opossum's like, nope, I'm gone, totally dead already, don't even bother. Shoot one clean and you get stringy meat, a pelt, and if it's perfect, yep, another hat. Green iguana. The green iguana is basically the lizard that went vegan. Found in Guarma, or chilling on the biggest island in Flatiron Lake, they're 10 to 15 pounds of leafy salad power. Diet? Plants, flowers, fruit, maybe an egg or snail if they're feeling adventurous. Best to drop one with a rifle. Skin it, and you get herptile meat, maybe a nice hide. Perfect skin? Another hat. Arthur Morgan, outlaw, hat hoarder, and part-time lizard tailor. In real life, iguanas are chill sunbathers. In RDR2, they're free camp protein. Foxes. Now, the foxes are where the predators start getting classy. Red fox, gray fox, silver fox, they're all around the 10 to 15 pound mark. Omnivores too, snacking on rabbits, squirrels, berries, and birds. The red fox, classic, sly trickster. The gray fox, same thing but in a different colorway. And the silver fox, that's the deluxe nighttime edition. Hunt one with a repeater or bow and you'll get pelts and claws. Perfect pelts go into, you guessed it, more hats. Foxes in real life are known for being cunning hunters. In RDR2, they're just clever enough to run away the second you even think about drawing your rifle. California Valley Coyote. "25 to 45 pounds of scrappy desert dog. These things roam everywhere. New Austin, Lemoyne, New Hanover. Diet? Pretty much rodents, and more rodents. They're not wolves, but they've got that wild energy. If you hear howling in the night, it's probably coyotes holding a family band practice. Best way to take one down is with a repeater or bow. Loot gets you a pelt, stringy meat, and a coyote fang you can sell. In real life, coyotes are survivors. They adapt to anything. In RDR2, they're just the middleweight champ between rat and wolf. Legendary coyote. Now, if regular coyotes are the scrappy bandits of the desert, the legendary coyote is their boss fight. Weighing around 50 pounds, it's bigger, darker, and way meaner looking than its common cousins.
Found out in the heartlands, it feeds mostly on rodents. So basically, it's the ultimate exterminator with fur. Best way to hunt it? Repeater or bow with arrows. Drop it, and you can craft rare gear like the legendary Coyote half-chaps. You'll also get a fang that's used for crafting trinkets. So yeah, this coyote's more valuable dead than alive. Kinda like Micah. North American Beaver. The North American beaver is basically the lumberjack of the animal kingdom. Weighing 40 to 60 pounds, these chunky engineers live along rivers in Roanoke. Diet? Tree bark, roots, plants, basically anything that keeps them in business building dams. Hunt one with a varmint rifle and you'll get pelts, fat, and scent glands. Perfect pelts go into hats, so Arthur's out here turning hardworking river architect into headwear. And beavers in real life? They can reshape entire landscapes with their dams. In RDR2, they mostly reshape your dinner menu into stringy meat stew. Wild boar. We're talking 150 to 300 pounds of angry bacon with tusks. They eat everything. Frogs, insects, fruit, roots. And if you're unlucky enough to get too close, they'll happily add Arthur Morgan to the menu. Best to use a rifle or bow with poison arrows. Take one down and you'll loot fat, tusks, a pelt, and tender pork. So yes, dangerous as hell, but also delicious. In real life, wild boars are invasive nightmares that tear up farmland. In RDR2, they're just the fastest way to ruin your day on a hunting trip. Wolves. The gray wolf runs around 80 to 100 pounds, mostly in big valley and tall trees. They hunt deer, goats, beavers, and sometimes you. They always roll in packs too, which means one wolf is a problem, 5 wolves is a respawn screen. Then you've got the timber wolf, bigger, about 100 to 120 pounds, living in the Grizzlies and Cumberland forest. They hit harder, they're meaner, and if you hear howling at night, well, good luck. Legendary wolf. This beast can push 120 to 140 pounds, with brown and black fur that makes it easy to spot, or harder to miss right before it rips your throat out. Best way to handle wolves? Rifle or bow with poison arrows. Drops include pelts, meat, hearts, and in the case of the legendary wolf, you can craft the Batwing chaps, which basically turns Arthur into a cowboy Batman. Cougar, Panther, Florida Panther. All right, welcome to the part of the game where your horse freaks out before you even see what's coming. The Cougar and Panther family sits at around 120 to 160 pounds. Big, silent, and they hit like a freight train. They'll stalk you, pounce out of nowhere, and give you that lovely dead sign before you can even say dead-eye. Regular panthers hang out in Lemoyne wetlands, snacking on deer and wild boars. The Florida Panther is the same deal but cranks up the aggression, hunting everything from raccoons to, yep, even alligators. So when you're in their territory, just know you are the appetizer. Best weapon? A rifle with high-velocity rounds or a bow with poison arrows. Loot gets you claws, hearts, meat, and that sweet, perfect pelt, which, naturally, makes another saddle. Legendary Cougar. Now, the legendary Cougar in Gaptooth Ridge, that's the boss fight of all boss fights. Sleek black fur, about 170 pounds, and fast enough to ruin your day before you blink. They prey on elk, deer, goats, and any outlaw dumb enough to wander too close. Rifles or poison arrows are your only real chance. Drop it, and you'll get a fang used for crafting. And yes, the legendary Cougar pat, because Rockstar decided that surviving a Cougar attack should unlock cowboy cosplay.
Legendary Giaguaro Panther. If you want true nightmare fuel, meet the legendary Giaguaro Panther. This beast only spawns after completing 9 Master Hunter challenges. Translation: the game makes sure you're cocky before unleashing this monster. Weighing in at 180 to 200 pounds with scarred maroon fur, this cat looks like it fought a grizzly and won. Rifle or bow with poison arrows is your only shot, because this thing does not play. Kill it and you get an eye for crafting, plus the legendary Panther range gloves.
Congrats! Now you can literally wear the hands of something that just made you cry. American alligator, small. Small alligator. But these swamp monsters still weigh 200 to 300 pounds. They lurk in Lemoyne's swamps and deltas, eating fish, birds, mammals, basically anything dumb enough to touch the water, including Arthur if you're not careful. Take them down with a long-scope rifle or bow with improved arrows. Loot gets you skins, teeth, and big game meat. And if you've ever thought, hey, I want to ride into town on a gator skin saddle, well, Rockstar has you covered. In real life, alligators have been around since the age of dinosaurs. In RDR2, they've been around just long enough to scare the hell out of your horse. American black bear. Smaller than a grizzly, sure, but still 200 to 600 pounds of forest trouble. Found in tall trees, Roanoke, and Big Valley. Diet: salmon, berries, honey, and whatever unlucky critter crosses its path. So basically, Winnie the Pooh with anger issues. A long-scope rifle is your best bet here. Drop one and you'll get fat, claws, big game meat, and a perfect pelt that turns into, yep, another hat. Because apparently, Arthur's ultimate goal is to turn the entire wilderness into headwear. If you hear growling in the woods, it's already too late. American alligator. If you thought the small gator was bad, then you should meet the full-sized American alligator. These swamp tanks weigh in at 400 to 800 pounds, lurking in Bayou Noir and Blue Water Marsh like scaly nightmares. They eat fish, birds, mammals, basically anything that moves. Best way to drop one? Long-scope rifle or bow with improved arrows. Take it down and you get a hide, teeth, and big game meat. Perfect hide means another saddle. Fun fact, these things haven't changed much since the dinosaur age. In RDR2, they haven't changed much since Ruin Arthur's day. Grizzly bear. The grizzly bear is one of those animals that makes you question why you're even out hunting in the first place. Weighing 400 to 800 pounds, these giants roam grizzlies east. They'll chow down on berries, roots, deer, elk, and if you're nearby, you. Rifle with high-velocity bullets is your best bet. Get a clean kill and you'll bag fat, claws, meat, and a perfect pelt that turns into chaps. Because nothing screams rugged outlaw like pants made out of a bear. Real-life grizzlies can outrun a horse in short bursts. They can easily reach 35 miles per hour. Legendary bull gator. Easily tipping the scales at 1,000 plus pounds, this swamp boss is basically a living tank with teeth. It's massive, pale-scaled, and likes to lurk near logris. You'll spot it before you hear it, or maybe you won't, and then you'll just spot the "you died" screen. Best to use a long-scope rifle or bow with improved arrows. Kill it and you'll snag a tooth for crafting, plus the legendary alligator vest. A vest made out of an albino swamp monster? Yeah, that's a flex. Legendary Bharati Grizzly Bear. And finally, the king of kings, the legendary Bharati Grizzly Bear. This beast pushes 900 plus pounds and prowls Okray's Run. Covered in scars, bigger than any other bear in the game, and the definition of you are not prepared. Use a long-scope rifle or bow with improved arrows, because if you don't drop it fast, it'll be you getting dropped. Kill it and you'll score a claw for crafting and the legendary bear head hat. Yes, Arthur can literally wear the head of his greatest enemy. Now, in real life, grizzlies are counted among the most dangerous animals on Earth. Not only do they pack insane muscle power, but their bite force hits around 1,000 psi. That's strong enough to crush bone and snap through flesh like a breadstick. So yeah, in RDR2, he's the final raid boss. In real life, he's the last random encounter you'd ever want to have.